A lot of snow on this logging road. It's very windy. Sorry for the wind and the camera sound. It's when I started out it was about -30 on the drive. I figured it warmed up to about -18 or so. It's somewhere between probably -16 and -20 right now. Wind chill probably around -25 or -30 wind chill effect. Normally my nose has to be covered up, but I'm working so hard that I'm just pumping the heat. I got my wools on with a fleece underneath, 2 layers of Empire woolen canvas wool, heavy blanket wool, and it's breathing really good. On my head I have acrylic balaclava and a 4-layer acrylic toque. I'll show you the little pulk sled I'm pulling. So there's my little pulk. I got my day pack in there, axe and saw, and a rack, and going into see if I can prep a camp, an old camp that I stayed at a couple years ago. I'm going to see what the wood supply is like and maybe lay in some boughs if I can find any. My little no-name lake. It's just a pike lake. Nobody seems to come here, but it's a great camping spot. Very windy out there, very windy. Beautiful old stand jack pine. Some black spruce in there as well. That's really old. I can see some standing deadwood in there. But this is on the shore and the wind is slamming right into this open stock stand. It's open stock because it's growing on a slab of rock there. Shallow soil, so their trees are widely spaced. And the wind is really whipping through there, so don't want to camp here. Well, this is my old camp, but there's been some storm damage, some blowdown. Go in and check it out here. I'll show you. So the camera's going to be a bit shaky here for a minute. So there's some of my firewood sticks that I cut. They were leaning up and now they're not. They're down in the snow and they're probably soaked because those trees came down and knocked down my leaner tree. Here's a jack pine top that came snapping off, probably that one there. And my tent was right there. I was just marking it out to see if I got enough room. I think I do. So good thing that thing didn't come down when I was here a couple winters ago. So the tent spot itself is clear. There's my 2 stove skid logs that float the stove. Got my bipod pole still leaning up there. There's one. There's another one. So I only have 2 hours or so, maybe 3, before it starts to get dark. I can head out in the dark if I have to. And I have my headlamp and there's no hazards. So what I think I'll do is I'll pack the tent area, level it with my snowshoes. It's a bit lumpy. And then see if I can yank out that wood there and lean it up. Do an assessment how wet it is. And then a decision between laying in some spruce and balsam boughs. It's actually a hard site for boughs here. The trees are either too small and don't want to touch them because they need all their boughs, or the trees are big and all their branches are on top. So it's a little shy on available boughs to float me up on the deep snow. This is the perfect diameter of spruce and pine that I'm looking for. Also balsam fir, but preferably black spruce and jack pine. Just felled this. It's all dead, of course. Standing dead, and it's full of limbs. So I'm hiking back with my saw and my axe. This is my full size, well, 25-inch Grand's First Brooks Forest axe. This will make quick work of the limbs, and I can drag it back. Got the anorak on to protect the wool, keep it from getting shredded, and keep it clean. This kind of work is exactly what these little bear paws were designed for. You can spin on a dime, turn around, and not get tails caught anything. I can walk up and down, hopping side to side to delimb this. Easily step over logs, back up in tight quarters here. When I'm looking for firewood, I really like to find these areas of tight black spruce underneath the jack pine or underneath older black spruce. The young black spruce will come in thick. It's semi-shade tolerant. It'll seed in after the other trees are up and there's a bit of room to live in there, but many of them don't make it. And so I can see some dead stems about wrist thick and arm thick, which is ideal for what I want. There's one right there. It's dead. This one here, it's snapped off, and I think it's dead. I'll check it. Those branches are from the tree behind it. You have to look way up because often a tall, spindly little spruce, there's one in there, and way up at the top it's got a little tuft of green, so it's still alive. But if I poke around through here, I'll find my firewood supply. Even some of these leaners will sometimes have a green tuft up atop, so you got to check them. But this is a good little grove. I should be able to get several good black spruce sticks out of here. Here we go. Wrist thick, arm thick, and it's dead. The top tuft of dead branches is covered in lichen, but it's dead. This is perfect for stove wood. Absolutely perfect. This looks like a nice little snag. It's snapped off, but it's very white at the top, and I suspected that it's alive still. Look at the storm damage we've had here, all the branches still alive down there. So I shaved it with the axe, and sure enough, that's wet. So this snapped off probably sometime this past summer, and it'll store on the stump for a couple years and dry out. Got some firewood laid in here. That's enough for a night for arrival. Make a camp in the dark if necessary, because I can saw those in the dark, and that's enough for the next morning as well. More than enough. So I'm good on the firewood. This is a blown down spruce. Still alive, but it's gonna die soon. Boughs are pretty scraggly on it, but I'll see what we can get off this. Got a few already, but I'm gonna need a lot more than that. I see another windthrow spruce over there that's still alive. See if we can get something off that. These little trees here, leave them alone. They need all their branches because they're in the shade, and that's all their photosynthetic surface area. If these little guys are going to live, they need every little bit, so don't touch the little ones. Got another blowdown here. Live branches still. Not that many actually, it's mostly snow, but might as well make use of them because this tree's going to die. And another black spruce blowdown that still has green branches. Again, we're at the top of the tree here, and they tend to be very short and kind of scraggly and not the best for lining a tent floor. And the ones down at the base seem to be dead, so see what we can salvage off this. Running out of daylight. Well, I laid in some black spruce boughs there. That was all from fresh blowdown of tall black spruce. There's not really any big branches there because they all come from the top. So, but that's enough to get me by on night one to stabilize that deep snow floor there. It's most important at the entrance of the hot tent and under the stove, so the stove can float without shifting, and just back from the stove, the living area where I'm actually sleeping. I actually don't need boughs because I have foam pads, but they help. So that'll do for night one. Firewood is laid in, and sun is starting to get very low. Time for me to go home.